Hi students, welcome to the science class. In today's session, under the chapter of weather, climate, adaptations of animals to the climate, we are going to study what is meant by the weather, what is meant by the climate, and what are the adaptations are going to be done, or what are the adaptations we are going to see in the animals which they are going to live in that conditions. So generally, when you are going to go outside in the rainy season, or when you are going to go outside in a cloudy season, the parents are going to suggest you that you have to take a umbrella with you, you have to carry an umbrella with you, and with that they are going to say the climate is not good, the weather is not good, the weather shows, the weather seems to be like that, the rainfall will be coming here. And also you are going to heard the word weather in the TVs also. If you are having a habit to watch the games like a cricket games in a TVs, before starting the game, in the TV channels they are going to say a weather report of the area which the game is going to be conducted. So that is nothing but the weather report. And also you are going to hear the word the weather report from the radios at the end of the news, and also the weather report will be comes in a paper. So what is all meant by this weather and what is all this meant by the climate, that will be studied now. So whether it is the day-to-day condition of atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, etc., it is called it as a weather at that place. What is weather? The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere. For example, you have to remember, at the morning time when we are going to see the weather it is very cool, but when the times goes, when it reaches the afternoon, the climate it is somewhat hot here, isn't it? So what is meant by the weather? It is the day-to-day condition of atmosphere, like that the day-to-day condition. What is the condition of tomorrow? The day-to-day condition of the atmosphere at a place with respect to the temperature. What is the temperature? What is the humidity? What is humidity here? The amount of the water which is present in the air, or the amount of the wet air is present in the atmosphere, that is nothing but the humidity. And the rainfall and wind speed, etc., is called it as a weather at that place. You are going to see in a weather report which is done by that, which is told by the news channels, they are going to consider the temperature of that place. Today's temperature is about, average temperature is about, they are going to say. And also they are going to say the humidity, they give the humidity, what is the humidity of the today's condition. And also they told the wind speed, isn't it? So when you are going to consider a weather of a place, the weather of a place, we are going to consider some major conditions here that are nothing but the temperature of that place at that day, the humidity of that place, and the rainfall at that place, and what is the wind speed at that place. So these are all will be included in the weather. So whether it is a day-to-day condition, what is the condition of temperature in today, what is the condition of temperature in tomorrow, is it very different from day to day? You have to remember, as I told already, the temperature is very low when we are going to see the climatic condition or weather condition at the morning time, but the temperature it is somewhat high at the afternoon, and also the temperature it is again somewhat low at the evening time, isn't it? So it is continuously changing, it is not a similar, it is not the same exactly every day every time. So the change in the temperature, the change in the humidity, or the change in the rainfall of a day or on a day, that is called it as a weather of that place. Is it clear? So what is meant by the weather of that place? It is nothing but change in the condition of the temperature, change in the condition of the temperature from last day, change in the condition of the humidity from the last day at a particular place, that is called it as a weather. And that the factors, the temperature, humidity, rainfall and other factors are called as the elements of the weather. See here, the factors, the temperature, humidity, rainfall, wind speed, these are all called as the factors of the weather. So the weather, it is clear that the weather, it is a daily condition, daily temperature. What is the daily temperature? It is a daily condition of a day. You have to remember, we are going to check out the conditions of the temperature in a one day. What is the temperature of today, average temperature of today, what is the average temperature of tomorrow, that is daily condition. But when we are going to consider the climate, it is the average weather pattern taken over a long period of time. It is a average weather pattern. So whether it is a day to day climate, we are going to check the conditions of the temperature, humidity, rainfall day to day. But when we are going to consider a climate of a place, climate of the particular place, that will be concluded by the average weather pattern. Average weather pattern, the weather pattern taken up by the last 25 years. Is it clear? For example, the I am taking here climate of the Jammu Kashmir. The climate of the Jammu Kashmir, it is always cold, isn't it? But when we are going to consider the climate of our Karnataka, it is not so much cold compared to Jammu Kashmir, isn't it? But we are also having the cold situation at the winter season, but it is not continuously present, isn't it? That is the weather report only. In the winter only we get the cold, but it is also very less amount. But comparatively Jammu Kashmir has always a cold environment, isn't it? So that is the climate of the Jammu Kashmir. So the Jammu Kashmir maintains the coldness from the large number of the years, isn't it? It is always, it maintains the cold condition every time. So like that, the climate, it is nothing but the average weather pattern taken over a long period of time is called as a climate of that place. I am considering another one example for the climate condition which we are going to see in the deserts. It is somewhat hot, isn't it? It is somewhat hot during the sunny season also, and also during the winter season it was get somewhat coldness here. So the climate, it is nothing but the average weather pattern taken over the long period of time. We can see here two types of the weather condition. For example, due to the weather conditions, we are going to get the rainfall here. So where there is a more hot condition and where there is a more rainfall is present, then we are going to call it as a wet hot land. Is it clear? So when we are going to consider an earth, so at the two poles, these are the polar ends. These polar ends are occupied by the ice caps, isn't it? So the climatic condition, it is very cold here. But when we are going to consider at the center part, at the equator part, in this part we can see large amount of the heat and also we can see high amount of the rainfall. So the land which is present in this area, that is called it as a hot and wet land. Why? Because the temperature of that land at any instant, at any time, it is very hot, and also they can get a very high rainfall. Therefore it is called it as a hot wet land. And when you are going to consider the deserts are also hot lands, but there is no rainfall here. Therefore that is called it as a hot dry land. Why it is a dry land? Because there is no rainfall here. Therefore it is called it as a hot dry land and a hot wet land. And the polar ice caps, it is always a cold here. We always cold places. So as we know already, in every part of the earth's surface, in the cold region and in the hot wet condition and also in the hot dry condition. Some of the animals are going to be live here, isn't it? But how they are going to live? By making some of the adaptations in their body. You are already know in the last class that is what is meant by the adaptations. The adaptations are nothing but the somewhat changes that can be occurred by itself by the some of the animal species to live according with the climatic conditions, isn't it? So some of the animals which are present in these are all regions, they are going to make some of the adaptations here. So what are the adaptations they are going to make, that will be studied now. Now I am considering the polar ice caps. As I told already, the polar ice caps are the very cold places which we are going to see. Why it is very cold? Because the sunlight falls very inclinedly here, very inclinedly. So they don't get the large amount of the sunlight here. They don't get the large amount of the heat of the sunlight here. Therefore, the polar ice caps are always the cold places. So the animals, how they are living in that conditions here, that will be studied now. I am taking two examples here, adaptations of the animals according to the climate conditions. First I am taking in polar regions. In polar regions we are going to see mainly two animals that are nothing but polar bears and penguins. Some of the other animals are also present here, but mainly which we are going to see the animals are nothing but the polar bears and the penguins. So what are the adaptations are going to be adopted by the polar bear to live in that climatic conditions, that is the cold conditions, that will be studied now. So here the temperature is very less, about minus 36 degrees Celsius. You have to remember here the temperature at the polar region is very less, that is it is about only minus 36 degrees Celsius. So to live in that such a conditions, what are the adaptations are made by that penguins or by the polar bears, that will be studied now. So the polar bears have a white thick fur. So one of the adaptation which has the polar bear, it is nothing but polar bears have a white thick fur in their body. They have a white thick fur, as I told already, as I explained already in the last chapter, that is fiber to fabric. Why some of the animals has a thick fur on their body? To get a protection from the cold. Why? Because when they have a thick fur on their body, the air will be trapped in between the fur, and air, it is a bad conductor of heat, and that provides the temperature to keep warm. So that will be helpful to keep warm in the cold climate. Therefore, one of the adaptations which are adopted by the polar bear, it is nothing but it has a white thick fur. And also, what is the help of this white thick fur? So it is white in color. So when it is present in the ice caps or in the snows, it is not easily identified by other animals, other predators. So it can be saved. It can be saved by itself by the use of the white thick fur. It is another one adaptation of the polar bear here, and they have a layer of fat under the fur. And also the another one use of the white thick fur, it is not visible to the other animals which it is going to be eaten. The polar bear also, it eats some of the animals that are called it as a prey. So with the help of the white thick fur, it can be hide under the snow to catch the prey which it wants to eat. So it is under one help of the white thick fur here. And under one adaptation here, they have a layer of fat under the fur. So when you are going to see another one adaptation by the polar bear here, that is nothing but the under the fur a thick layer of fat is present. You have to remember here, the fat, it is a good insulator and it keeps the body warm here. Therefore, it is another one adaptations which the polar bear has. And it has a wide and a large paws which helps for swimming. So in some conditions, it wants to keep its body warm. So in that condition it is necessary to do some of the works with the help of the body. In that condition the polar bear are going to be swimmed. So for the swimming purposes it has a wide large paws which helps for the swimming. Wide large paws are present in a polar bear that will be helpful for to swim in a polar regions. And it has a very strong sense of smell. You have to remember here the number of animals are very less here in the polar regions due to the climatic conditions. So the food, and also in these regions high amount of the snow will be fall here. Therefore it is very difficult to search the food material for the animals which are present in the polar regions. But they have an adaptation here. They have a strong sense of smell. They have a strong sense of smell. Using strong sense of smell, the polar bears are going to get their own food. So these are the some of the adaptations which are going to see in the polar bears which are present in the polar regions. And under one animal I am considering here the penguins. Penguins are also has the white colored patches on their body to get saved from its predators, isn't it? To get saved from its predators. And also the penguins are always attached to each other to generate heat between them. They are always attached to each other to generate heat between them. And also the penguins are always has a thick fat surface or the fat layer on their body, because as I told already the fat is a good insulator and that can be provide the heat to the body that will be saved by the cold temperature. So these are the some of the adaptations which we are going to see in the animals which they are going to live in the polar regions. Now I am consider under one earth region, in which region which animals are present and what are the adaptations they are going to take in here, that will be seen now. The under one region I am considering here, that is the region which is present around the equator. The equator, it is present at the middle part of the earth. So when in the equator region it gets more heat from the sun here. Why? Because the rays are directly fall on a equator region. Therefore there is we always see more temperature here. In Karnataka, in India, we are going to see the Kerala, the state of Kerala, which comes under equator region, and it has, so in that condition what is the weather condition in that area? In that area generally we can see more heat is present. Why? Because the sunlight falls very steadily on it. Therefore in this area we can see more temperature. The temperature is about, at the winter season, is about 14 degrees Celsius. In this region generally hot climate is present because it's located around the tropical region. The temperature in winter season, it is about 15 degrees Celsius. In the winter season also the temperature is about 15 degrees Celsius. But when you are going to consider in the polar region, it is about minus 36 degrees Celsius. See, you have to remember here how the cold is present at the polar regions. And also the temperature at the summer season is more than 40 degrees Celsius in the equator region or in the tropical rainforest region. So, and also due to the hot condition, and also in this area they get a high rainfall here. Every year they have a high rainfall. Therefore due to the hot condition and also due to the high rainfall, the climatic condition provides to grow more living organisms here. Therefore the tropical rainforest region has a different variety of different number of different types of the animals and plants are present in the tropical forest region. Why? Because the climatic conditions are very good for the living organisms to develop their population in that condition. So therefore we can see the number of different types of the animals which are present in that condition, and also the population of the animals in that condition, it is very high. So where there is a more population is present and there is a requirement of the food is also increases. So as the requirement of the food is increases, so some of the adaptations must be had by the animals which are present in that region. So in that region we are going to see day and nights are almost equal in length, but when you are going to see in the polar regions, in that region night is a very long time but day is very less. But you are also feeling that at the winter season what happens, the day is very less, and the night is very long. But in the tropical rainforest, in the equator region, day and night are always equal here, and in that region we are going to generally see the monkeys, apes, gorillas, tigers, elephants, leopards, lizards, snakes, birds, insects, etc. The different types of large numbers of different varieties of the animals are the living organisms present in that area. Why the large number of animals are present here? Because due to the climatic condition. The climatic condition, it is very suitable for the multiplication of the population of the animals in that condition. Therefore we can see large number of the animals are present here. As the large number of the animals are present in that condition, the needs of the food materials also increases. But as the needs of the animals to get the food is increases, they must have the adaptations to get the food. So therefore the animals which are lives in that area, they have the sum of the adaptations here. So what are the adaptations which we are going to see? First I am taking the tiger or cheetah. Cheetah, it is nothing but the leopard. So this has the capacity to run very fastly here, isn't it? This has the capacity to run very fastly. Why? Because to get to hunt the other animal like a deer here. Deer also has the capacity to run with a very speedily. Why? Because to get saved from the tiger and cheetah. So it is one of the adaptations which we are going to see in the animals which are present in the tropical rainforest. And other adaptations I am considering, another one big animal which is present in the tropical rainforest, it is nothing but Indian elephant. Indian elephant has a long trunk here. Why it has a long trunk? So it uses that long trunk to get the sense of the smell, and also it utilizes that trunk to get the food material, to eat the leaves, to take the leaves from the from the plants to eat. So that is also another one adaptations which we are going to take, which we are going to see in the elephant. And also some of the frogs which are present in this tropical rainforest, they have the glue-like structure in their legs. Why? Because to climb a tree or to trap any insects, they are going to adopt conditions like that. The glues are present in their legs such that, and also some of the birds which are present in that conditions, they develops their barks into long size. Why? Because to get the food very easily. So see, like that some of the adaptations are going to be seen in the animals which are present in the tropical rainforest. Why they are having the adaptations? Because to get the good amount of the food here. They want to get the good amount of the food because the number of the population or a number of the animals are very high in that region. Therefore there is a fight between all the animals which are present in that region to get the good food. Therefore they must have the adaptations to live in that condition. So these are all about the adaptations which are adapted by some of the animals in some of the conditions. In this chapter we only see the two types of the condition, that is, one it is tropical rainforest, and another one it is in the polar regions. But also we can see another one example here at the deserts also we are going to see some of the plants, like I am taking the what is camel is present. What is the adaptation of the camel? It has the capacity to store the water for the long times, isn't it? So, and also it has the feet, very wide feet to run in the soil which is present in the desert. So these are the adaptations we can see in the animals which are living in the deserts. Why? Because in the deserts they don't get the good amount of the water, they don't have the good amount of the water. So therefore, to live in that such condition, the animal has an adaptation to store water for the long period of time. It is one of the adaptation which we are going to see in the camel. So such adaptations are going to be developed in the animals according to the climatic conditions which they are going to live. So this is all about adaptations, how the adaptations are going to be adapted by the animals according to the climatic conditions. So in this lesson we discussed about what is weather, what is climate, what are the adaptations which we are going to see in the animals according to the climatic conditions, and why they are going to adopt that adaptations. So in next lesson we are going to continue next session we are going to continue your next lesson. Thank you. It completes the lesson called weather, climate, adaptations of animals according to the climate. Thank you.